Welcome back everyone. This is part 2 of Tidal Gardens' Nano Reef series. I'm Than. Now that's spelled T-H-A-N. Sometimes I get Dan or Stan, so it's actually Than. And in this video, we are going to be talking about some of the basic equipment that is going into the setup, as well as some ideas on aquascaping. If you missed part 1 of the series, click the annotation and you can see me refurbish the tank from a scratchy mess to what it is now. Let's jump right into it. Reef keeping is a simple hobby, but not an easy one. It comes down to stable conditions, clean water, and good light. Getting there, however, is the challenge. For a nano tank like this 25-gallon, there isn't a great deal of room for the equipment, so we're down to the bare bones necessities. All I will have running on this system is a heater, pumps for the return and the skimmer, and light. That's it. Lighting is a hot topic in the hobby. There's great options whether they be LED, metal halide, or fluorescence. I personally like LEDs because they have, in my opinion, the most flattering blue spectrum and are the most energy efficient. Now that I've got the equipment situated, setting up the aquascape is the first task that requires creativity. Choosing rocks and placing them in both a functional and aesthetically pleasing arrangement is an art. I prefer rocks that are irregular shaped and try to avoid rocks that are too round. The problem with round rocks is they're hard to fit with other rocks and are a poor surface to place your corals on. There's nothing more frustrating than corals falling off of your rock work and landing on other corals. Now, what I've shown so far are real rocks. There are artificial rocks on the market today that are quite good though. They're not cheap, but ceramic rocks have a great feel to them, and they can be made with features like these holes to hold frag plugs. Over time, these artificial rocks will turn into live rock just the same as any other kind. I may be in the minority, but I like to start with dead rock rather than live rock. If you ever played with Legos when you were younger, you might enjoy aquascaping. A lot of folks, when they first start in the hobby, make a single pile of rock in the back of the aquarium, or what I term the wall of rock look. That arrangement is suboptimal for a number of reasons. It constricts water movement in the rock, so that leads to detritus buildup, and you can't easily get in there to clean. It also restricts some of the creative possibilities. Folks that have been in the hobby for a number of years talk about aquascape almost as much as their fish. That's actually no exaggeration. If you ever want to see some eye candy, do an online search for aquascape designs, and you will marvel at what people are able to build just by placing rock creatively. When you're placing rock, consider the placement of corals as well. Think of where they're going to be situated and what they're going to look like once they start growing. It is an important step because a common mistake is introducing corals and having them outgrow their space quickly. On an aesthetic note, keep in mind the height that the corals will occupy. If you build your rock work too high, the corals may be too shallow or come right out of the water entirely. I have a small tank setup that has no rock at all, and the difference in height is produced entirely by the heights of the corals in the tank. It takes a moment to realize that everything is sitting on the bottom of the tank. In fact, here it is. Okay, that does it for part 2. Stay tuned for part 3 when we can finally stock the tank and try out some different style tanks. I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Happy reefing, guys.